Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, you want to set a fantastic Sunday. I am your meteorologist, Joe Peterson. Let's go and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your week for the week of June the 8th, going into June the 14th as we go through tonight. But first, gotta start off with the tradition. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button, make sure you go and do so. Also, make sure you go and hit the share button as well. Share it with all of the people that you know. As we're trying to get to 500 subscribers, we are 12 subscribers away until we get to our goal of 500 subscribers. We are getting closer and closer and closer. Let's go on and get to 500. Um, we do also. Let me see if this works. It's not working today. The winter weather radar has not been working the past couple of days. I think that has something to do with the app. But we're just gonna start here, and let's go on and talk with the recorded audience for the people who can unfortunately not make it to the live stream tonight. Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, you want to have a fantastic Sunday. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go on and talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your week. Now, looking at the radar right now, nothing going on for the entire state of South Carolina. But if we go on and scroll this out, you can see that we do have some activity going on. We do have some storm activity going on down here in Virginia, going into North Carolina as well. We also do have some rainfall going on up here inside of New York, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut as well. Some rainfall going on over here inside of the UP of Michigan, going into Michigan, Illinois, and even to Missouri as well, And then the main risk down here, Texas, receiving some, definitely some strong winds, just some hail in general, as well as we've had some storms down here in Texas get up to around 80 miles per hour, as we already have some confirmed gusts of hurricane force already, and definitely that will, continue for the next little bit. We also do have some rainfall going on over here in California, Nevada, going to the Four Corners region, and North Dakota as well. As we go into our cloud cover right now is showing some kind of isolated to scattered cloud cover as we move through tonight. You can see that we do have, that cloud cover activity in the upstate going into the southern Midlands, going into the PD region as well as we go into tonight. And if you go even into the future as well, cloud cover will continue to move its way eastward. And even as you move into tomorrow morning, you can see that cloud cover is not really going to be as prominent as it once was. And as you push this into, this is like this afternoon, right here, this afternoon, you can see that cloud cover is starting to become a little bit more prominent, a lot more widespread. As you go into your current temperatures right now, 79 in Summerville as well as 79 in Charleston, and 80 in Key Island, going into 80 in Onondaga, 77 in Ridgeland as well as 77 in Hampton. We also do have 79 in Beaufort, 79 in Georgetown, 80 in Myrtle Beach, 79 in Conway and Loris, as well as 79 in Sumter, 79 in Columbia, as well as 79 in Newberry, 75 inside of Greenwood, as well as 75 in Spartanburg, 73 in Anderson and Greenville, as well as 73 in Clemson. Going into your low temperatures for tonight, 65 in Greenville, 66 in Spartanburg and Anderson, as well as 67 in Rock Hill, 68 in Newberry, 71 in Columbia, as well as 69 in Aiken, 70 in Barnwell, 71 in Orangeburg, even 70 in Walterboro, 74 in Charleston, and 73 in Georgetown. Going into your rainfall for tonight, you can see we do have around a good half an inch to probably around an inch possible from Georgetown going into Myrtle Beach, going into Moncks Corner, Walterboro, Hilton Head Island, quarter of an inch to half an inch for Charleston, going into Orangeburg, Sumter, Kingstree, going to Florence as well, even Dillon, a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch for Anderson, Greenwood, Lawrence, as well as Newberry and Winsboro, Camden as well, and then a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch for Greenville, Spartanburg, Rock Hill, and Cheraw as we go through tonight and tomorrow. Now, again, this was last updated around 8 o'clock p.m., so there definitely is some of this will definitely have passed already. But I mean, with the isolated shower activity that we had earlier, but I don't think it's going to be much, so I think that most of this is going to be pretty accurate, most likely. Going into your severe weather, starting off first, with day one, I believe they have updated it. They always do it right when I get to this portion, and you can see that we now have just a little marginal risk down there just for the very southern or the coastal low country of South Carolina from western Charleston County all the way down towards the South Carolina-Georgia border. And that is just a damaging wind or a gusty wind and a gusty hail threat. Some of those showers might move on shore, and there might still be some ingredients left over that might cause some thunderstorms with some gusty winds or some small hail as we move into tonight with some that isolated shower activity. Thunderstorm risk pretty much for everyone else. And then we also do have a slight risk of severe weather for tomorrow. Again, this period of severe weather is just continuing as we move through. As you can see, we do have a slight risk pretty much for the entire state of South Carolina. What is this for? This is obviously for a damaging wind threat. Everyone has a 15% risk of receiving some damaging winds and even a little tornado threat as well. There is a 2% chance of tornadoes tomorrow that goes from pretty much from everybody except for the coastal low country of South Carolina and even going into some inland portions, but that's like down there toward like Beaufort. I'm going into Ridgeland, South Carolina, going into, Ridgeland, going into Seabrook, South Carolina, and then other places around there that does not have that little chance for a tornado as you go into tomorrow that's left out. And then as you go into Tuesday, marginal risk of severe weather again from Columbia due east pretty much. There is some areas just to the west of Columbia, but overall, it's pretty much from, if you draw like a diagonal line, does not include Aiken, Rock Hill, Greenville, Spartanburg. They do have a thunderstorm risk though, and there's just a regular 5% risk of receiving some severe weather. In terms of excessive rainfall, we do have a marginal risk still for tonight. Again, that was probably just from all those storms that we had earlier. They will update that soon. Tomorrow, we do have a minor risk of flooding for the entire state of South Carolina. Tuesday, the entire low country of South Carolina and the Grand Strand region going into the eastern PD region has a minor risk of flooding on Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, though, we look fine. As we now go into our models, let's go and see what the models have to say. We're going to look at the short term first, then we're going to go look at the long term. Here's the short term right here. You can see starting off at 9 p.m. Again, just that isolated shower activity. You can see what we were talking about, why we feel that marginal risk of severe weather at around 12 o'clock in the morning. Some showers and storm activity might try to move through. And then overall, maybe some more shower and thunderstorm activity as you go to around 12 p.m. I'm going into around 1 p.m. as well as we go on and push through. As we go into even further into the future, through around 4 to 5 p.m., more thunderstorm activity continues, and this is where the slight risk of severe weather comes into effect as we go to around 4 to 5 p.m., and then that will move through the low country by around 8 to 9 p.m.-ish tomorrow, and then just this whole line of moisture to move through as you get early in the morning, unlike on that Tuesday, and then after that, it's going to dry out a lot, so as we get from around the 9 a.m. territory on June the 10th. That's when we could start to receive some dry weather. But again, obviously, that won't last, obviously, due to how we are inside this rain every day pattern. Speaking of, if we go on and start here, this is 2 p.m. Look at this as we get into June the 11th, the next day, just some more rainfall activity. Now, that's mainly reduced to like the coastal regions, most likely. But it doesn't really matter because as you get to around June the 13th and the 14th, it will quickly spread towards the entire state, especially the inland regions as well. And then we might have a little bit of a break as we get to around June the 19th and the 20th. That was our time frame to where we couldn't really say anything just because it's too far out right now, and it still kind of is. Anything pretty much from June the 21st out into the future, it's just too far out to say what's going to happen during this time period right here. So we're just going to have to wait some more and see what happens there. Let's go on now and talk about each individual day since this is the week forecast and tell you if it's going to be like a rain day or not. June the 9th, which is tomorrow, we already talked about tomorrow, severe weather day. June the 10th, also a severe weather day. You go through June the 11th and 12th, even going to the 13th and the 14th and the 15th and the 16th and the 17th. So pretty much, yes, the entire week, like I thought, probably will have some rainfall activity as we move through. Now, again, There is this little bit of a break from June the 10th, like as you go to around the afternoon into like early morning on June the 11th. But other than that, I don't really see anything else that's really prominent or that's really calming. Let's go on now and talk about our next area, which is our just our can't think of the words right now. Weekly forecast. Okay, I don't know why that took me so long to say that, but our weekly forecast for this week, starting off firstly, this week will be an above average temperature week. It will be an above average temperature week. So we definitely need that rainfall, as you know we're trying to get rid of this drought that's still here inside of South Carolina for going into like the Horry County region and then Charleston County and Georgetown County. It's only a D1, but it is still there. So we definitely do need the rainfall to eliminate that drought once more, and hopefully get it to where nobody is inside of a category at all. It's just everyone's just in the none category. But right now, like I said, everyone will be above average in terms of the temperatures. And then as you go into precipitation for this week, yes, everyone will be above average in terms of precipitation. So a good thing there. If you're looking at it from a drought perspective, if you had something to do this week, though, not necessarily the best thing you want to see as we move through from now into Saturday. As we go on and look at temperature anomalies, I do want to go on and look at that. So moving on down here, I do want to see that we are going to be, we're all going to start off and we are going to be obviously kind of in the middle. I mean, it could be warmer than average during the day, but then it's going to get cooler than average during the nighttime hours. And overall, that's pretty much what this week is going to be. It's going to be kind of just a mix of warmer than average and cooler than average. It just determines on what time of the day it is. If it's during the day, it might be cooler than average. If it's during the night, it might be warmer than average. And so that's just what we're looking at as we move through this week. And if we go on and look at just exact temperatures as well, again, these aren't going to be exact, but it can give us an idea. Temperatures staying in the 80s. You have some 90s here and there, 95, and overall 93, 95, 93 again. And so it's going to be hot this week for sure. It's going to be hot this week, especially as we get further into the week. Most likely, even as we go into next week, it's going to get warmer during that time period as well. So it's still going to be hot. Don't worry about it. It's still going to be hot. Let's go on now and look at the crazy score. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, the score that we use to see how crazy the weather is inside of South Carolina, it's not made by me. It's completely made by a bot, and it is at an 18 for tonight. It is at an 18 for tonight. So that means that we're inside the mild category, which means it will be either slightly breezy or cloudy, but no major concerns. And honestly, I believe, if I go on and check the reasoning for why it put us in the 18, it kind of gives me a analysis on why. Just says the rain/storm threat very low, just a stray shower storm near the coast, and that is true as well. With that margin risk still there, but it's not anything too concerning. Patchy fog is also possible late. Areas in the valleys or low-lying inland areas, and also winds light southwest flow with some breezes early evening, but we're already past that. And then partly cloudy overnight. No major hazards are expected. So the only thing that you really have to worry about tonight is just fog or humidity, or if you're down there in the very far low country, a minor storm could pop through. But that's it in terms of the crazy score. Let's go on now, since we're done with all of that, talk with the audience, which I'm not going to lie, there's not much at all. We only have 2 chats tonight. I think I zoomed in a bit too far. There you go. Not much to talk, not much going on tonight. Trail says, hi, just hello to you. And then Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. And that's it. So, there's not really much else to say there. If you want to go on and leave a chat, inside of the chat, you have to be subscribed to the channel, and you obviously have to have an account as well, because you cannot comment if you're not a subscriber, just due to some stuff that happened in the past. It changed to subscriber only mode and no longer on, just where everyone else can chat on it. But let's go on now and look at our three areas of interest. Well, actually, first off, before we talk about that, I do want to talk about this. This is for the tropics right here. We do have two. Yes, we have two tropical storms out here. We have Tropical Storm Barbara and then Tropical Storm Cosme, I believe how you say that, or Cosme. Tropical Storm Barbara will actually become our first hurricane of the season, or for at least the Eastern Pacific season, not for the Atlantic season, as that will continue to move its way, and it will become a hurricane probably by late tonight, most likely. So that's what's going on there. That will cause some rainy and breezy activities over there in Mexico, but other than that, nothing else really going on there. And then also, we also just saw the other one as well. Let me see if I can go back real quick. Might have to go to here. Yeah, I can go to here. Go back. Tropical storm, I believe it's Cosme, or I don't know how you say it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how you say that at all. But it's just becoming a storm, or a tropical storm, which it already is. And it's gonna weaken pretty quickly. This is not gonna become anything too bad. And then the one area of interest as well as you move into here. Pretty much just says a tropical depression could form late this week or over the weekend over there in the same area where Barbara is. So pretty much they're active right now over in the Eastern Pacific and Atlantic. What's going on over here? Absolutely nothing. We are nice and quiet over here in terms of activity though. All right, now we can go on and talk about our three areas outside of South Carolina, being San Antonio, Raleigh, and Philadelphia. And then after that, we'll talk about news stuff going on inside the entire U.S., weather news. And then after that, if anybody else types anything inside the chat, we'll recap that, and then we'll be out of here for tonight. So starting off with San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight at 77, high temperatures tomorrow at 97. Low temperatures tomorrow night at 76. There is no precipitation expected as you move through today or tomorrow, but you are under a marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow and Tuesday, even though no precipitation is expected. I think it's mainly going into like a late night threat on Monday, as you are under a marginal risk of severe weather. Mainly it's for damaging hail. An isolated hailstone of up to an inch is possible as you go to tomorrow. And then Tuesday, you have a marginal risk of severe weather with a 5% risk of receiving some severe weather. As you go into now excessive rainfall, there is a minor risk of flooding as you go into Tuesday. There's a slight risk on Wednesday and Thursday as well. So a minor risk on Tuesday, scattered flash flooding on Wednesday and Thursday as well. If we go on now and look at Raleigh being the next one, low temperatures tonight 69, high temperatures tomorrow at 90. Low temperatures tomorrow night at 72. Scattered thunderstorms are expected tonight. No precipitation is expected tomorrow, but tomorrow night there will be a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow night. There will be also a chance of severe weather as you move into tomorrow as well. Slight risk of severe weather, 15% risk of receiving some damaging winds, and then a 5% risk or a 2% risk of receiving an isolated tornado. And then Tuesday, there's also a threat there for a 5% risk of receiving some severe weather. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, though, there is indeed no excessive rainfall that is expected. And then our final location of the three being Philadelphia. Low temperature tonight being 62, high temperatures tomorrow 73, low temperatures tomorrow night 64. Showers are likely tonight with patchy fog, and then a chance of showers tomorrow night, or tomorrow during the day, and then showers are likely tomorrow night. There is no threat for any sort of severe weather except for on Tuesday. There is a threat for Tuesday. And then after that, minor risk of flooding as well on Tuesday. So you have a minor risk of flooding on Tuesday, and then or some minor flooding on Tuesday is possible, and then some isolated severe storms are also possible on Tuesday. And after that, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else really to talk about there. So I don't see anything else inside the chat. Let's go and talk about what's going on throughout the entire U.S. Severe thunderstorms with destructive winds, very large hail, and a couple of tornadoes and excessive rainfall will move across the southern Oklahoma region and Texas and northern Texas region overnight. On Monday, scattered damaging winds, a couple of tornadoes, and isolated large hail is possible across the southeast U.S. into the upper Ohio Valley. Excessive rainfall may bring flooding in the northern Gulf Coast and the northeastern U.S. as well. We also still do have air quality alerts out, obviously, with wildfires going on in Canada. That's going on still for New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine as well. We also do have some critical fire weather conditions. We've been talking about it up there in Washington, Idaho, Oregon, California. I mean, you may have some temperatures up there to 90 to 100 degrees up there for those regions. And then Montana as well, also having some red flag warnings with those gusts being high from 40 to 50 miles per hour. And then with real humidity values all the way down to around 18%. That's going to be a fire danger for them up there. And that is it. So hopefully everyone enjoyed the forecast tonight. If you did, make sure you go and hit the like button, subscribe button, hit the share button. We are 12, yes, 12 subscribers away from our goal of 500 subscribers. All we need is 12 more people. That's all we need, 12 more people, and then we will be to our goal of 500. Make sure you go and do so. It's quick, it's easy, and honestly, you can change your mind if you want to and unsubscribe later in the future. But that's it. I will be back going into tomorrow morning with your Monday morning forecast update, first day of the week. Let's start this week off strong, and everyone have a fantastic week.